So on that note, how do you navigate the big challenges of the team you lead, the criticism you get in life? Because any leader who's leading anything above 5 people, I mean, I always say, and I think I can't even remember really who it was. A leader back in the day said, those who you idolize, you will one day demonize. And
Mm.
and I've always known that about my job. Like in the early, you know how it is in the early days, in those first 5, 6, 7 years, Guy Mason, you can do no wrong. Mark Clark, you can do no wrong. I'm going to bring my friends. I'm going to share your videos, whatever. And now you're 8, 9, 10, 11 years in, and it's like, you're a jerk. You can't believe you. But I was going on social media today. There's people on my social media going, what are you doing? I'm just people freaking out. I said, how do you deal with the criticism that comes in ministry, Guy Mason?
Yeah, that's it. That's great. I mean, it's a really good observation. And I think it's the temptation for a pastor is to start believing the press releases about you, particularly early on,
Sure.
because people
Yeah. Oh,
tell
yeah.
you, oh my gosh, that was the best sermon I have ever,
Changed
or
my
I'm going
life.
to share your videos. You
Mm-hmm.
have changed my life.
Change
Don't,
it.
don't let anyone else tell you you're the reason that, people just pump you up. And,
Yeah.
and you've got a filter and you're like, yeah, I know. Look, give glory to God, give glory to God. It's
Right.
his,
Right.
but it's easy to start living off that and feeding off that. And sin is, our hearts are deceptive. And so it's easy for those, to pump those tires up and to live off that. And so when that starts to shift, or the person who lifts you up now hates you, it really can throw you for six. And,
What?
after a
What?
while,
What does that mean? Throw you for
hit you for
six?
six.
What does that
I
mean?
actually, it's funny, I said that. I'm like, I don't even know if that's the right phrase.
I
Knock
don't
you
know what that.
over.
Oh, knock you
I
over.
just,
Okay.
yeah, anything that doesn't make sense, just blame that it's Australian, or
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even
Exactly.
Australian.
Yeah.
So,
It's just.
um, hit you for six, hit you for six. There you go. That's a cricket term. Um, Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. And
So,
that's why
so,
not
so
one of
that,
our Canadian listeners will understand that. But anyways, yes. Continue. Yes.
so that can throw you,
Yeah.
and then you get a false sense of self, or
Right.
self expectation. Like, I'm the kind of guy who, like, I could preach a sermon and have 20 people come up and say, man, God moved in my life. That was fantastic. And I just have one person say, yeah, I didn't really like your third point. And I'd be like, it would, I don't know, it'd be so uncomfortable. I'd like, oh gosh. And there'd be the pressure in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I've come to I'm on a journey to realize more and more is um, it's such a simple point, but our need as pastors, to anchor ourselves in the affection and approval, the righteousness of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you, the wave of, say, criticism, or the wave of challenge, whether that's for someone like you're very public. And so whether that's a public thing, or whether it's personal, you got someone in your team or whatever it might be, that stuff can eat you up. And it would be a lie to say that you can avoid that. I just haven't met
Yeah.
anyone who hasn't, like, even, and that, you might put it on yourself and say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I could have done this. And sometimes there's wisdom. You've got to learn from what we do, but sometimes it's inevitable. People put you in a place that you were never meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a matter of time before that is challenged. So that's very humbling for a pastor, particularly if they've bought into their own press release.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I'm increasingly finding more freedom in recognizing my own futility, my own fallenness. I think you've quoted this book before, but I read it through it last year. Leading with a Limp, found really, really helpful, just to remind myself of what I've always preached, but my own fallenness and my own brokenness in the midst of what God is doing. Like, actually, no, I don't have this together, and actually, I am not great at this, and I need to learn, this. But then, but not staying there forever, like taking that and then reminding myself, and yet in the midst of my fallenness, I'm, a son of the living God who loves me, who cares for me, who's given me some gifts, not every gift, but some gifts, who meets me with his grace.